Good early afternoon, 12:04 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Tuesday, December 10th, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So I decided I wanted to do an update here. My son's in his food therapy, so I've got a little bit of time. I want to start off with cryptocurrency. I want to go into a cryptic message that Ripple sent out, and it just simply says lock in. So that says the XRP community in a buzz or a tizzy. I also have from XRP Scan, I put it in here. I took a screenshot just going through the stuff I seen on XRP Scan. There was 30 million XRP bought up by a solo whale on Upbit. It went through, it looks like on December 10th at 2:21 p.m. at UTC time. When I looked, it was 21 minutes ago. It's about an hour now, I would say, from then. Or 39 minutes now, roughly. But this is what happened. The beauty of it is they could deliver 30 million XRP, and the fee was 0.01 XRP. So they sent it. It shows the ledger 92. But anyhow, you can read through all of that. But that was just some movement from an XRP whale. And 30 million XRP is a pretty hefty amount. So obviously we looked at that just to get through that, but I wanted you to at least see that movement. And then precious metals. Gold's up 32 bucks right now. We're at 1.21%. And I've been focused in with everybody because I used to share a couple different commodities, but I decided to focus in on the one that had the best dividend payment. And that's why I've been focused on B2 Gold. It's at $2.72 right now. It's up about 4 cents. Bought back in $2.63, I think it says my average is. But that's something to watch as gold trickles back up towards 2,700. Last week we talked about how it looked like gold was being forgotten about, precious metals, and my interest was raised very big last week. My interest level got very big. And then when I bought back into B2 Gold, let's see, I don't want to tell you the wrong number. $2.63, and I have 3,582 tokens, or shares, I mean. The beauty of it is when it was at $3.32 when I sold, I had 3,100 and something, so I was able to gain 400 more shares by understanding the rotation it was in. So now, if this big inverse pattern plays out, it's going to be interesting. So we'll take a look at that towards the end, but let's get into XRP very quickly. As we can see, XRP is down 7.84% on the day. If you were able to watch my morning update, if not, I'll give you a quick rundown. In the morning update, I talked about how it looked like XRP was building a descending wedge possibly, which is very bullish consolidation, but the downward support could bring us as low as $1.85. That's why I wasn't too excited this morning when it was at 218. I said I didn't like the way it came down yesterday. It was a bearish touch at first. Now with what it did recently, as you can see, this is better. This is better. So this morning we were working on this nonsense. Right now though, see how we hit right here at $2.01, $2 right here? Let me get the arrow out. This is much better. And maybe it comes down a little more, but see this $2? This officially now is back tested the 2021 resistance as support now officially. This is what we were talking about yesterday. It had to do it. It had to do it one way or the other. Now, if that's a double bottom, that is a bullish Gartley in the short term, like we talked about needing to happen yesterday. And now we can truly talk about, is this a massive W in this descending wedge that it looks like it's forming? This is big. It filled the exhaustion candle now. Now, if it falls out, we know we're screwed. If it falls out of this, I mean, you're talking about, if it comes to $1.55, this pattern's forced itself back to the downside. And yeah, we'll get an opportunity to sell if you want to. Don't get me wrong, because even if it falls out, right, even if it fell out, you'd still get the opportunity of a chug along, probably back to $2. And then you'd have to make that decision. And then if it did that, then it would be confirming the right shoulder, just like over here, the left shoulder, but it took the stairs up. Took the elevator up, probably take the stairs down. So if that's the case, you got to keep your eyes out. But right now, we have the opportunity here for this to be a very big reversal if it plays out. Well, this would bring you back to all-time highs if it played out bullishly. And you can see the whole entire market is just getting lambasted. And the crazy thing is even though it's getting hammered, like look at some of these. Just look at some of them. IOTA is down 12.2% today. It's at 34 cents. Just a month ago, it was at 11 cents. So, yes, it would suck if you bought the top. As I stated a couple days ago, everybody's been asking me the last 3 days, would you buy XRP? Or hell to the no. When it was at 290, I said no. 270, 250, no. You never buy the rally, not this big into it. Now, if you want to find a spot where you think it feels good, $1.98 was the first area I pointed to. Because that's if this stays a bull market. It has to hold that area. It has to, in some fashion, hold it. So at $1.98, it's not a bad play. It really isn't. And it hit there today. Now, the better play would be if this descending wedge plays out and it comes like that $1.85 and somehow holds. But there's no guarantee it would come down there. The best play would have just been to simply buy it in the accumulation phase. This is not the accumulation phase. I don't really care what anybody says. I know this is not the accumulation phase. It can't be an accumulation phase if you're 300% over where it was in the accumulation phase. Now, this could be the back test and reaccumulation of some who may not have bought. And if there's enough of a wall there at $1.98, this is how we propel to the next level. This is exactly what we talked about needing to happen, not what we wanted to happen, what needed to happen. When we talked about with summer, what we might want to happen going up to $3 and $3.10, we talked about that scenario on a bullish breakout, but how it would effectively end the pattern. You'd have too much below that we would have had to fill. If you went up to $3.10 and then came all the way down here, there's nothing to look forward to. Now we still have the ambiance here, whether you appreciate that fact or not, that we have not hit $3 since 2018. Had we have broke that mindset and at least went to 3 or 3.10, you can't say that anymore. Now you've got people that are like, man, I want to get out on this road before we actually do hit that $3 for the first time. And now they've gotten a 30% discount here from $2.90. That's why it's so dangerous to buy it after the runs happen. If you bought it before the rally up, and this is no spite against somebody who did or didn't, it's just the fact remains, if you bought it during the accumulation with us, and you've got a 35-cent average with us, or with me, or with anybody who bought it with me, you know, it's a lot different sitting here and me saying, oh my God, I'm so stressed out that my 3,500 is 20 grand and 10,000 tokens, compared to somebody who spent 29 grand and now it's worth 20 grand on 10,000 tokens. That's why you got to have humility. Because just as happy as you might be, you got to remember there might be somebody else who's just as frustrated. Because remember, the money has to come from somewhere. So if somebody from the bottom is succeeding, somebody from the top has to be falling. And now you got to find how far do we fall before we get another row of buyers. That $1.98 would have been where everybody should have lined up from support structure. If they were looking at continuation or just hoping to catch a falling stone that ends up propelling itself into the promised land even higher. Because to me, we're already in the promised land. We're already in the promised land. We went from a 35-cent to a $2 XRP. Now let's consolidate here. Let's figure out what kind of momentum we have. Let's not overzealously jump to the technical target before clearing all of this liquidity. The bottom line is in cryptocurrency, I believe the number now is 2.4 billion has been liquidated in leverage in the last 27 hours, roughly, in totality across all markets. That's 2.7 billion in spot that has disappeared, that can never be put into spot. And some people are like, oh, well, some of those are stop losses. No. When it says liquidated, that doesn't mean you were stopped out. A stop loss, activation, and being stopped out and liquidated are completely different things. In most stop out cases, it's between 10 and 30% you're losing on your forbidden trade. Think about losing the other, 70 to 90% and being fully liquidated. That means if somebody put in 10 grand and got liquidated, they have zero. Unlike a spot, if you put in 10 grand, you might have lost, you might have lost 2 grand on these drops in the last day and a half. 2 grand's a lot better than your full 10 grand. So like I've said before, and I'll say it again, a lot of people ask me about the copy trading. I'm simply not pushing it anymore because I see a lot of problems with a lot of people trying to go outside themselves and leverage, thinking there's easy money to be made when there's not. I try to show every single day the liquidation maps and the heat liquidation maps and just in totality the market liquidations, and show just how much money is finding itself outside a spot and just being lost for no damn good reason. And if you leverage trade, you're going to lose over time. I don't care what anybody says, because no matter how good you are at the charts, there's always those liquidity spikes. Always. And even if you would have shorted this drop, remember, there was a point here before the drop where, again, it went up, and anywhere from 7 or 6x, actually 5x maybe even, in this drop, from 5x, 4x, I mean, you could have got liquidated. So, I mean, you can have a certain way of doing this, but that's what I wanted you to see on XRP. I got to get this moving along, but that's what I wanted you to see. XRP, if it does double bottom here, this would be the buy zone for the play up to resistance at 242, then a possible play back down to $1.83. Okay. So that's the play down we'd be looking for here. So just, you know, being in at 35 cents and then somebody buying in at $2.50 and getting upset right now that it's at 205, like, you're not paying attention. Like, if you're buying in at 205 after a big rally, that's not how you're supposed to accumulate this stuff. So it'll put you in a very bad spot. So real quick with B2 Gold and commodities, gold's up $34 right now an ounce at 2,693 an ounce. That is being overlooked. Everybody's looking at crypto and the easy money, but nobody's looking at the smart money. Smart money says you got to buy the commodities while they're down and the precious metals. And right now we're at that point. We're in a descending wedge on B2 Gold. That's very bullish consolidation. We have an inverse head and shoulders here that is trying to play out. And a W reversal, which looks like it could turn into a Gartley reversal, which is pretty bullish. We just got to get over $2.77. And then, I mean, you open the door to a pretty big move here. Actually, a really big move. You're looking at about $4 in current times after this consolidation down. About $4.80. So just something to pay attention to there. And then gold, if we get back over 2,700, we've already bounced off of real big support. So far, we're avoiding coming down to 2,396. We've already back tested that range, so it's not technically necessary. But we did fall out of a very big rising channel. And if we come up and we get rejected anywhere short of like 2,900, it's just going to be a back test rejection here. And that's the play right now, to see if it gets a rejection or if it pushes through. But that could still bring gold up to $2,800, even if there is a rejection. And then silver's back over $32, a place that hasn't been seen much in the last 50 years. One of the few assets on this planet that you can buy that's cheaper by almost 50% from back in the 50s and 60s and never gets talked about. Never gets talked about. That's why I don't put my money in the bank or in the dollar. It goes into silver if I have expendable. So this flip, big cup, it's been a multi-year, well, actually about a 55-year cup. The handle formed since 2011. And now if we break $39.55, the first target's $50. But once you get on top of that, you have a target of $93. So we'll be talking here in the next probably year or two on this very channel that gold's going to be up there. When I first started, silver was at 15 and gold was at about 1,600. So it's already went pretty nuts here. But just pay attention to that. Make sure to hit the like button. I'm XRP Future Millionaire. Make sure to subscribe, as we're like, I don't know, less than 200 people from 30,000 on here. So just please make sure to hit that like button, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in tonight's live.